Welcome. In this section, we will talk about the morphology of roots. Now, roots, as we know, are typically non-green. Typically, they are underground. We do have exceptions, which we would be citing in the modifications of taproots and adventitious roots later on. But just to have an overview, they do not have nodes. So, typically, they don't have nodes and they develop from the interior, and therefore, they are also known as endogenous in nature. Now coming on to the zones of the root. The root can be divided into three zones. The first is the zone of maturation. The second is the zone of elongation. The third is the zone of meristematic activities. Right? And on the bottom of it is what is known as the root cap. Now let's understand each of these. The zone of meristematic activity is the zone which is the most active zone. Now since it's the most active zone, cell formation takes place rapidly. Large number of nucleus, the nucleus size is large with a lot of cytoplasm which is present, and there is active division. The next is the zone of elongation. Now when we talk about zone of elongation, this is the zone where there is increase in the length. So this zone is the zone where increasing activity takes place and elongation of the root take place, and therefore as the name suggests, it is the zone of elongation. The next is zone of maturation. Zone of maturation is the zone which is differentiated. Right, since this zone is the zone which is differentiated, the root hairs here absorb water and there is no active division which is present in this zone. The next important is the types of the roots. So there are primarily three types of roots that we say: taproot, fibrous roots and adventitious roots. What is the difference? Taproot is a single root which goes deep and has branching. The example is dicot plants. The next is the fibrous root. The example is monocot plants. Now here the main root is short-lived and there is huge number of branching from the other roots which emerge from the main root. The last one is adventitious. So it drops from any part and any other part which is not the radicle or the root. So it forms from any other part which is not the radicle or the root. And these are the three important types of roots. Taproots, classic to dicots, we do have exceptions. Fibrous, classic to monocot plants, we do have exceptions, and then we have the adventitious roots. Now, more details on the modification of taproots and fibrous roots we would cover in the forthcoming lectures. Stay subscribed for further updates and do follow the link below for more practice on morphology of roots.